Servers are up. Wait a second. Has there been any tweets yet? Has there been any confirmation this is actually patched? See, I want some kind of confirmation that something's different. We're online though. It's up, boys. Okay, it's business as usual as far as I'm concerned. I mean, I'm gonna assume nothing has changed. It's definitely a Mexican Abigail. 5-bar Mexican Abigail, here we go. What did I tell you? First match is Mexican Abigail. Nothing has changed, boys. Don't worry. Viva la Mexico. That's definitely not snow on the ground out there. You see the palm trees? Business as usual. Oh, looks like shit. Looks worse than usual. It's not teleporting, but it's not good. This is a bad connection. It's stuttering a lot. And I played this guy before, so it's not like this is brand new. This is a 5-bar connection, chat room. Either way, I don't care if this is actually better. It's still matching me with people in Mexico. I'm just too far away. This is not a 5-bar connection. This is like a 4 or 3. It's constant small stutters, which is very, very hard to deal with. It's not a 5-bar connection, so I'm docking points for that. I'm not near Mexico, so what do you expect? Yeah, I don't think the patch is today either, because nothing's been announced, and the language is very ambiguous. So I don't think anything happened. I don't know. I'm still waiting on someone to confirm. So the language that Ono used was super ambiguous, which is why we're having this confusion right now. So let me reiterate what Ono said on the 12th. Thank you for the positive responses on our NETCODE announcement. Many players are asking about the timing for this, so I can share that the NETCODE update will happen next week after the server maintenance. For this week, please enjoy the release of Street Fighter V Champion Edition and Seth on Friday. So that was on the 12th. We are after the server maintenance, because server maintenance is done, but they're not really going any more specific. So that to me is why people were saying that it could be today. I don't think it's today. The patch was disabling the mod. So if it is today, I mean, some people are saying that the mods are dead. If that's all they did, that's fucked up. They just disabled or made the game crash if you use the mod. That's crazy.
In the top 200.
What is this flag? I don't know. It doesn't seem like America, United States of America. So I shouldn't be matched up with them. That's pretty much my stance on the matter of net play with Street Fighter V. Please stop pretending I'm in like the Cayman Islands or something. I don't know where Capcom thinks I am, but there's snow outside and people around me like cheese, milk, and beer. Is it live yet, chat? We're trying to deduce that. I don't think it's live, and if it is live, God help us all. So far, the only... I'm not making this shit up. I only get matched with Mexico and DR. And everyone, if any person in the chat goes, no, bro, they can just set the flags whatever they want, I'm firing on sight. I'm firing on sight. I'm being gaslighted at that point. Straight up. I know for a fact that I'm getting matched with Mexican and Dominican players non-stop. In fact, I know some of these Mexican players. I love this part of the game. Wait, why did I do that? How do you say hold that shit in Spanish? Oh my god! We hope you're enjoying Street Fighter V CE and thank you for all the support. Netcode adjustment has been made to the game and is available now for all players. We ask that you send your feedback to Street Fighter V server. Please enjoy and look forward to CPT 2020, Street Fighter League 2020, Intel World Open starting soon. Are you fucking kidding me? Nothing has changed. I'm getting non-stop laggy match after laggy match after laggy match from Mexico, Dominican Republic, unidentified Caribbean island, and then that one dude who lives too far away and is on Wi-Fi in the US, and I still have a shit connection with him. How could this be the patch? All you did was delete the fan-made patch from existence. You removed the solution to the problem because you were incompetent enough to not be able to deliver that after 4 years. How is this the solution? I mean, if we got to suffer through it for the CPM, that's what we're doing. How's my netcode experience been? Is it different immediately after the patch? I think this is time for us to talk about it now that the dust has settled a little bit and that everyone has a better grasp of the situation and that some of the facts have come out. I think I was just kind of cursed and blessed with being the streamer at the right time, at the right place on Tuesday when the patch dropped. 1,000 people actually tuned in to see what was going on after the server maintenance was done. And I was not 100% convinced that the server maintenance was actually going to be the proposed netcode patch. I was not going to assume anything because, once again, Capcom was being very ambiguous with their communication and just said that sometime after the server maintenance, there will be a netcode update. So I wasn't sure if it would actually be included during that time. So once the servers came back up, a ton of people were tuning in to my stream to see what was really going down with the update and see how the netcode was performing. So immediately after the update, I get matched with Mexican Abigail player, like a Mexican Ed, and then an Argentina Ed, and then, yada yada, more the same, same shit, different toilet, and I wasn't really thinking much of it. And then the reports started coming into my chat that this was the netcode update, people were saying, and I was like, no, we don't really know that, nothing's been officially announced. And then people were reporting that the Altamore and Fluffy Sheet patch were preventing people's games on PC from booting up. So then, word on the street was that this patch did nothing. This patch simply caused people who had the mod installed on PC, it caused their games to not boot up, effectively banning the fan-made patch. I got a little heated because at that point I had already been dealing with the shitty connections that I usually got after the maintenance had gone on. I was holding out hope, saying, no, this is probably not the update. Nothing's been confirmed. My online is still crap like usual, but, we don't really know what's going on. Then people were reporting that this is it, and all they did was block people from using the mod. So if that was truly the case, which in my heightened emotional state, I felt like that was the case, I was pissed. I couldn't believe it. So I kind of, did what any good FGC Samaritan would do. And I took to Twitter and I expressed my discontent. It was just a really interesting example of shit boiling over in the FGC because, like it or not, I don't even think Street Fighter fans like it so much. Street Fighter is still kind of seen as the face of the FGC in a lot of aspects. It's definitely been kind of a power vacuum since Street Fighter V has come out, where people are looking for something to replace Street Fighter V as the face of the FGC. Being at the top of anything means you're held to a higher standard than any of your other peers. People expect more from Capcom. Capcom makes the same mistakes that another fighting game developer makes, and it's not seen as an egregious offense compared to Capcom. They are probably the biggest player. I mean, Tekken 7 is rising up to fill that vacuum for sure, but they're the biggest player right now. And because of that, they have the responsibility of, setting a good standard for the community. We really saw that dynamic come out when everyone was getting pissed. So I feel like people were watching my stream, seeing my shit connections, seeing me get heated, feeling like nothing has been done to the netcode, and they were running with that. People who don't often or never play Street Fighter V, who have a following in the FGC and on Twitter, were reporting things like, damn, all Capcom did was ban the netcode patch, GG lol. I kind of felt like they did the same thing too. That's what I thought too. There's definitely a subset of people in the FGC who only talk about Street Fighter V when it's to shit on it, and some people who talk about it only when it's to discuss important points with the game and the community. Because Street Fighter V, like it or not, the corporate front of the FGC, the top-down direction of how things are going. If Street Fighter actually managed to twist the arms of the developer to implement proper netcode, listen to the fans, and fix the online, that would be seen as a monumentous accomplishment in the FGC. because we are desperate for valid online solutions from our popular devs. And then Capcom seemingly dropped the ball. They seemingly dropped the ball at the most critical moment when they said, we will finally rise up to the occasion and be the company that we need to be for the FGC. And then it felt like they just, they fucked up again like they always do. But what I think after the fact is we were all just overreacting, including myself, because Capcom did mess up. They messed up with communication, like they always mess up. That was the big mistake of the moment. They were cryptic about when the patch was going to drop. They were cryptic about what the patch would entail, and they were not tempering people's expectations for what was, bar none, the most requested feature, and I think for all of fighting games ever. It finally happens, and then no one knows what's going on. So yeah, you gotta expect chaos. The fix, on a fundamental level, is not a fix, it's an adjustment. They modified the parameters with which the netcode will function. It's not fixed, right? The fundamental issues that were present from day one are still there. There's still one-sided rollback, and they tried to make an attempt to change how it worked, but I would not call it a fix. So of course it was up to the community. We had to have a tool assisted. The guy talks in only caps and code. We had to have him post some cryptic code to talk about some of the scenarios he tested, and a few other people were digging up the data. So apparently they reduced the number of frames that you can get out of sync with each other, but one person can still be bearing most of the rollback. To compensate for getting two out of sync, now they're adding slowdown. So in moments or with connections where there's a lot of lag and you're constantly getting out of sync with each other, you will experience slowdown in the game, which was not present there before. The game will come screeching to a slow, stalling speed to get you guys back in sync, then go back to being stuttery. In practice, sometimes this is better. For connections that are almost good, it might be better. But for connections that are bad, it might be worse. I definitely experienced connections where it had both rollback and slowdown. I got a stun on somebody and I tried to do my combo, just like one of these, and I definitely dropped the combo because now the slowdown can eat your inputs, which didn't happen before. After that session on Tuesday when the patch dropped and I had a horrible ranked session, I did play on Wednesday, played some sets with 801 Strider, and 801 Strider I wouldn't play with online because it was just not fun. It was just almost a good connection, but there would be micro stutters here and there, and in key moments you wouldn't be able to react, and just kind of throws the game out the window, and it's a frustrating training experience. We played a bunch of sets. It was good. It was, in my opinion, a vast improvement. It feels like I'm playing almost offline. It's more of a case-by-case basis, what has improved and what hasn't. So that's why I'm saying it's not a fix and it's an adjustment. But if Capcom had just communicated this, just explained a little bit about what they're doing, we're modifying some of the parameters of how this works, it would have just tempered expectations. They could have announced when it was dropping clearly, and then we wouldn't have had this whole mess to begin with. I mean, I'm sure some people would still be overreacting and saying Capcom's garbage and they can't do anything right. I do think it's unfair the flack they get compared to other franchises. This game has come a long way, and I think it's one of the most functional products now for a fighting game out there on the market. Now, definitely was the worst before, but still they need to do better. They need to do better because they're Street Fighter. It's Capcom. Overall, I'm kind of indifferent about the netcode patch. Works better sometimes, works worse other times, but they're apparently taking feedback. Apparently they're listening more, and I'm gonna remain a little bit hopeful about the future that they're gonna take our feedback into consideration and try to continue to improve our online experience.